He literally was sought out to be the devil in the White City. Dr. H. H. Holmes was a physician in the late 19th century in Chicago. He was thought of by many to be the devil, including himself. He always had something different about him also. He was 26 years old, with dark hair and striking blue eyes that held so much power. A physician named John L. Cappen later observed, "They're blue, great murderers, like great men in other walks of activity, have blue eyes." To women he was an appealing delicacy. He had many devil-like characteristics, and breaking the casual rules of intimacy was one of them. Women found it dazzling and intriguing, but men found it to be strange, and would many times get jealous of the way their partners would act around Holmes. And with this also came his ability to bend people's will. He could receive anything he wanted or needed with a persuasive persona. He was known to buy large amounts of surplus and inventory from different companies, pay a lump sum of cash when receiving the product, then withdraw from paying for months and even years, but not without the occasional persuasive lunch meeting or letter exchange between the two parties. Another way he would bend people's will came with another one of his devilish characteristics, of murder. He once said, "I was born with the devil in me. I could not help the fact that I was a murderer, no more than the poet can help the inspiration to sing." He would lure in young women new to Chicago. He would then get them to work in his pharmacy or another business that he owned, and get them to live in his castle. He many times would court these women in marriage, a legal majority though. He murdered so many women, but no one seemed to notice, besides the occasional letter from a concerned parent, but the suspicion was soon brushed off. No one ever suspected him of anything. He was imprisoned for insurance fraud during 1899, 5 years after the closing of the World's Fair, in Moyamensing Prison in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. He then was accused of the kidnapping and murder of Alice Peitzel, Nellie Peitzel, and Howard Peitzel, the children of his former assistant, Benjamin Peitzel. Then, after a very lengthy investigation by Detective Frank Geyer, Holmes was found guilty of murder on many accounts and sentenced to death. Holmes said this while in prison, "I am convinced that since my imprisonment, I have changed woefully and gruesomely from what I was formerly in feature and figure. My head and face are gradually assuming an elongated shape. I believe fully that I am growing to resemble the devil, that the similitude is almost completed." He was buried in a cement-filled coffin in a cement-filled grave in an unknown location. He was lost, but comfort for others was never found. This is a passage from the book The Devil in the White City. Strange things began to happen that made Holmes's claims about being the devil seem almost plausible. Detective Geyer became seriously ill. The warden of Moyamensing Prison committed suicide. The jury foreman was electrocuted in a freak accident. The priest who delivered Holmes's last rites was found dead on the grounds of his church of mysterious causes. The father of Emmeline Cigrand, one of Holmes's many victims, was grotesquely burned in a boiler explosion, and a fire destroyed the office of District Attorney George Graham, leaving only a photograph of Holmes unscathed. Whether you believe in his claims about being the devil or not, there will always be something about the story of Dr. H. H. Holmes.